My name is Anthony. I'm 20 years old and I'm a perpetually sick student. That's all you need to know about me. The Eternal Health Clinic has recently opened, and from the first day it has outshone all the others with its excellent conditions and the wonderful work of the doctors. The doctors are trying so hard to keep me healthy that any desire to get sick again will be lost. Only a weak body can't tell that. The head doctor recently told me that some medicines will be coming soon, by the time I am discharged. They are proven and will help me to regain my immune system. I'm thrilled to hear that news, and while I'm waiting for my X hour, I'm going to enjoy being here. At noon, I decided to go out to the yard to freshen up a bit and enjoy some sunshine before fall finally arrives. Sitting down on a bench, I noticed something. Not far from the main building, there was a one-story building that looked like a warehouse. Usually it was a place where auxiliary workers went in. Only this time, I noticed two doctors walking in. Grunting and cursing, each was carrying a box, tightly sealed with tape. I was a little surprised, for what had they forgotten there? Don't boxes of documents go to the archives? Unless, of course, they're documents. It all seemed very suspicious to me. Maybe I've seen a lot of horror movies and thrillers about murderous doctors, but still, something is definitely not clean. I'm an overly curious person, always prying into other people's business, which is why I often have unpleasant mishaps. This moment was no exception. When the doctors brought the boxes in and left, I decided to peek through the window unobtrusively. I didn't expect to see anything, especially since it was dark. No matter how hard I looked, I didn't see anything. I was about to return to my favorite bench, and suddenly I heard a knock on the window. Knocking, 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 knocking. I turned around. Outside the window, I could see someone's bloody hand without a thumb and forefinger. Someone was tapping weakly, trying to draw my attention to themselves. I stared at the blood-red head with empty eye sockets. I wanted to scream, but a lump in my throat prevented me. The freak had written on the window in bloody letters, "Help me." I quickly ran out of there, pinching myself on the cheek a couple times. I tried to get it into my head that it was a dream, some side effect of a medication hallucination, because Eternal Health dispensed different drugs. As I breathed and calmed down in my room, I decided that it was. It's just a hallucination. I imagined it, yes. None of this happened. It was just a side effect of the medication. I repeated to myself for about 10 minutes. I tried not to think about it, but I'd have to ask the head doctor about it. I'm paranoid, and sometimes I can get all kinds of ideas, so I'm not going to rest until I know the truth of what I saw. A couple days later, the head doctor himself came to see me. I forgot to add that he's my primary care physician. In addition to carrying out procedures, he came in just to see how I was and just to talk. He came before lunch, after the procedures, so he had a chance to talk about the incident with the two doctors in the warehouse. I told him that I happened to notice during a walk how two doctors were carrying boxes to the warehouse. Normally, no one on the nursing staff goes there, at least not that I had seen during my walks. He replied that he had allowed the two young doctors to set up a game club there, saying that no matter how hard you try, the clinic will see what the young interns are doing, so let them play away from the patient's eyes during their breaks. And he added that I could ask to play with them. The guys are reliable, they would accept me. After saying that, he left for lunch. The sun was shining brightly, illuminating everything around with a pleasant light. Sighing, he got up from the bunk and went to the window. I opened the window ajar and enjoyed the light breeze. And how could I think that the warehouse is inhabited by an incomprehensible monster there in the warehouse? Maybe I should listen and watch less creepy stuff. Well, time for a nap. Nothing like a day's sleep. Couldn't sleep last night. I got a craving for water, so I had to take a little walk to the water cooler. As I was drinking the water, I heard a very strange sound. It's hard to describe, but it sounded like someone greedily sucking the juice out of a small box. After walking a few meters and a couple of turns, I saw a nurse standing near the nurse's station, slightly hunched over. She was the one making the nasty sound. She was probably drinking juice or something, but why in the middle of the night? And so noisy? When I got a little closer, I looked closer to see what she was doing there. My eyesight wasn't very good, but I thought I saw someone standing next to her. As I was trying to see, I accidentally stepped out of my hiding place and hit the bench, making it rattle. Realizing I had exposed myself, I only opened my mouth, but the nurse turned around sharply. She wasn't human. A spiral mouth with many small teeth, like the snout of a lamprey or a leech. She stared at me intently, someone's body ripped out of her hands. I shuddered, jumped up from my seat, and rushed to my room. The monster followed me, letting out a loud scream, so nasty and grunting that I had to plug my ears. After running the distance from the nurse's station to my room in a minute, I crawled under the blanket, curled up, hoping it would go away. The creature ran past me, but stopped not far away. Suddenly it was quiet. Slap, slap, slam, slap, slam. The creature walked the hallways, screaming and stomping loudly, but never found me. The next morning I woke up with a horrible feeling. I don't know if it was a nightmare or reality. That incident in the warehouse, a monster in the form of a nurse, coincidence? I don't know. There was an incomprehensible feeling of unease inside, as if I had discovered something scary in the clinic. My thoughts were confused. I decided that I would start investigating before I was discharged. I didn't look for accomplices for fear of being taken for a lunatic. I approached an elderly cleaning lady and offered to take her things to the warehouse. That's how I got inside. When I looked around, I found nothing but the boxes I had brought. But when I looked closely, I noticed brown stains that looked like blood. I couldn't find anything else. That leaves night duty. It's a risky business, but there's nowhere to go. One night I wandered the corridors, trying to be inconspicuous. I imagined I was some kind of ninja from an old Japanese movie. It wasn't long before that creature reappeared, and not just one. There were 3 of them, and they all chittered among themselves, which resembled the sound of breaking caramels. They stood there for a long time, and then they went off in different directions, thankfully past me. I went after one of them, trying not to breathe. Quickly, there was a scream, as if someone, like me recently, had decided to go get a drink of water, but had fallen victim to the thing. By the unpleasant sound, I realized where he was. The nurse was hovering over the man. I couldn't see his face. He was lying on the floor belly down, and the thing was greedily sucking all the juices out of him. Footsteps were heard. The nurse took her eyes off the food and looked toward the dark corridor. In the meantime, I hid around the corner and, cautiously looking out, recognized a silhouette in the darkness. The silhouette was the head doctor. He took a serious look at the withered corpse, kicked it lightly with his foot, nodded and said it would be all right. She could take it and call the others. Taking the dead man, the creature rushed towards me, but miraculously didn't see me. We have to go after the head doctor. He disappeared into the darkness of the corridor, and I, going into ninja mode again, followed him until I was at the large white doors of the surgical ward. The head doctor turned, squinting, and disappeared behind the door. I followed him. The red light and the smell of iron hit my eyes sharply. I was horrified. Red stains all over the walls, scraps of something that looked like meat on almost every corner. The place resembled the most insane vision of hell, as if the evil mind of an artist had painted it all. I almost threw up. There was a squelching sound with every step. A slimy, sticky, whitish substance covered the tiles and part of the walls. The smell of iron intensified. Mooing and quiet moans were heard. The mind said, "Don't go in there. It's dangerous there." But I didn't listen to it even in the face of danger. The room contained a multitude of torn, bloody bodies. They hung like carcasses, and incomprehensible tubes were pumping something into them, keeping them alive. This time, all the food I had eaten during the day was on the floor. I was distracted from contemplating this horror by the screams of these creatures. I had to hide among the human bodies. Curse my curiosity. In the very room where surgeries are usually performed, with the doors open, the nurses were frolicking around a pile of corpses. With their movements, they looked like aborigines at a sacrifice. In the middle of the pile of corpses stood the chief physician with his head bowed. Behind his back grew a kind of wings. His whole body transformed into something fat and large. Like a leather sack, the monster sat on top of the dead, raising its thick, 3-toed paws and emitting a womb-like growl, like the distorted cries of children. Orange feline eyes glared at each nurse, while the extended horse's mouth bared crooked fangs. The wings flapped rapidly, creating strong currents of air that made me unable to resist and fall on my 5th point. They noticed me at once. In the blink of an eye, the weighty carcass of the main creature was at my side. I closed my eyes, preparing for the worst. Oh, it's our favorite Anthony. It wasn't the head doctor's voice, it was the demon's shriek. "I'm sorry, you've revealed our doctor-patient confidentiality. You're gonna have to stay with us forever."